Hello and welcome everyone to the Dragon's Den. I thought maybe we'd take and revisit our scrap journal. Mainly because I saw some things that were starting to come loose and I need to fix them. So I figured, why not turn the camera on. And now this was at one point taped, but for some reason my tape did not want to hold. So I'm coming back with some glue and glue these down. Ugh, I think I put a bit too much. I did remember, you'll be so proud of me, I did remember to refill my glue bottle before I started. Make sure everything is down on that side. Yep. It looks like, yeah, just the tip. I mean, you can see where the tape is just peeling off there. I don't know why it wants to do that, but that's okay. We have glue. We have glue, we can fix it. There are so many different types of glues out. And I've noticed a lot of people asking, what type of glue is the best? What should I use? Depends on one, what you're using it for. Two, it also depends on what you like. Granted, you see me using Fabri-Tac quite a bit. I mean, it is my go-to glue, and I buy it in the larger 8-ounce bottles and then put it into my smaller one because this is easier for me to handle than this one. But I also use a white glue, or not a white glue, but a clear glue, and a little one. And all that is, and some people are going to be, yeah, it may shock some people, but it is the Jot glue I get from the Dollar Tree. Sometimes it's easy to find. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult. But I bought the bigger 8-ounce bottles, and I bought a case of them, 12 bottles. So, because I like that one. It's cheap, it does just as good in my book, or as far as I'm concerned with what I do. It does just as good as, Elmer's or whatever. I also have the Jot white glue, and I'll use that if I'm doing my water-based glue, which is like little more than half glue to less than half water. And that's for decoupage and stuff, because when we were going through the pandemic, it was hard to get decoupage glue. Everywhere I looked, they were sold out. And then Amy over on her channel, Al John, showed how to do water glue, and I've been using it ever since. But I thought we would just come back in here. This is actually the third time that I have tried to film this. First time, when you have a 185-pound puppy with an 83-pound puppy, one's a Malamute, one's a Pit Bull, respectively, and they decide they're going to play, they are not quiet. And of course they want to play wherever you're at. So then the second time was my daughter had just got home from work, and of course my granddaughter's home this week from preschool because it's their, quote, spring break. So she was excited, and it was a 5-year-old at the top of her lungs coming in. But that's okay. That's all right. I just turn the camera off and start back. I have not learned how to edit the videos on my iPhone. So, and I don't edit. What you see and what you hear is what happens in real life. So, I do have, we're talking back to the scrap journal here. What constitutes a scrap? We've used quite a bit in here. We've even used some things that weren't scrap. But, what is a scrap? These are my scraps. I have lace. I have bits and pieces of seam binding that I dyed. I had one of these left over. All I did was a piece of a pillowcase that I cut up. Some people use sheets, like Pam over at the Paper Outpost will do it with a sheet. I don't think I could go through a sheet in enough time. So I got a pillowcase. Other little pieces of lace. Now some may use these as snippets. They're fine. They can be, they're called scraps, they're called snippets. I think this came off of a t-shirt I cut up. This was part of packaging. I think that came off of, I think there was potatoes in that. And then you get down to papers, pieces you've torn off, strips you've cut off, book pages, longer strips, other things you've cut off, and they can be anything from thin book pages to copy paper to thicker scrapbooking paper to cardstock. And yes, there is a difference between cardstock and scrapbooking paper. There is a weight difference. I did not know that until I made the mistake of saying something and someone corrected me. And I don't mind if I'm being corrected. But then I started looking into it, and it's like, well, not to disprove the person, but because I wanted to know the weight difference. And I think scrapbook paper was around 80 to 95 in the weight, even less than 80. But then you've got your regular paper that goes through your printer, and then up to, I think they said like 80 or 90% was considered, they considered it scrapbooking paper. Don't ask me where. I Googled it from somewhere. But 110 is supposed to be the number for cardstock. Good quality cardstock, 110. I don't know if it's all true. That's what just what I had read. I don't know if this person was an expert on paper or what, and I'll be the first one to Google something if I don't know. Not because I want to disprove somebody, but because I don't want to sound like an idiot when I'm talking about something. Although there are times that, anyway, we won't go into that. Back to our scrap journal. Just looking through here to see what, or if anything, that I can add bits and pieces to. See, I like having that way. But if I put that there, I'm going to. That one side I know is going to hang down. But fine by me. So are y'all doing a scrap journal? Or any type of journal, let's say for your personal use? And what do you put into yours? I mean, you could use, there are lots of different things you can use your junk journal for. It could be for travel. You could have, you know, your mementos and different things and places for journaling your experiences while traveling. I still have mine I need to work on from when I went to Japan last May. Or it could be like this, just a way to use up scraps. Or you can have one that is a what-if journal. And by that, I mean, let's say you see something and you're wondering, what if I did that? Or what if we tried that with this? Or, you know, or it could be a journal with using things that you've never done before. If you've never done watercolor, do a watercolor journal. You know, make it full of things that you've never done before, but always want to try. And if it works out, great. You'll be able to use it in your other journals. And if it doesn't, you can either leave it as is as a reminder of what doesn't work, or, my favorite, cover it up. It's just paper. Oh, believe me, I have made some mistakes in my time. And I have covered up quite a few. But it's all good because it's a learning process. We learn not only how to do things, but we learn what we like. You know, we learn different things that make us happy. Now, I know this is not a scrap, but you don't have to just keep or just do nothing but scraps in your journal. You can use whatever. If you know something is not going to be used, like, for instance, stickers. Now, we've all bought packs of stickers, and there's going to be one or somewhere in there that you really don't care for. Use it in your journal. Use it in your scrap journal. Put it down and think, all right, I don't like this, but what can I do to make it better? And add to it, you know, put other things around it. Color it. Or, all else fails, cover it up. Nobody's going to know but you. See, that's a square. So, I'm going to tear this down here. Yes, I know. I took a piece out of my scrap pile to use, tore it in half, and I've still got the same amount of scraps. That's okay. It happens. I want to go that way. So yes, I am trying to use up my scraps, but there are times I'll pull stickers and other things in here. And I'm not working on just, excuse me, one page at a time. I'm flipping through. Now, one thing you'll need to keep in mind, if you've got a pocket and you've already filled it, it's going to cause some bulk. So when you're working on the other side, it's almost like you've got a bump under the page. And that could cause things not to sit properly or glue properly. So when you're gluing, in fact, we'll do this right quick. The one way I have found to do it, whether, you know, this helps, or, you know, it could be just, you know, Shelby, that's just a stupid idea. But it works for me. Now, granted, I've got this here. Also, pieces falling out on it. I'll put that down. Then I'm going to come back here and press it into place. Make sure my pieces stay in there where they're supposed to be. And that way I have not had the problem with them moving around on me as much as I've had them move around in the past. So, yeah, just little tips that you learn along the way. So, what have you learned new this week? Most of you seen, or those that, tune in, have seen me do my version of old tape, where I take my dauber and ink the sticky side of the tape. And then you glue it down. And, that's worked. I forgot where I saw it from. No, it is not my idea. But I was watching Charlotte Peterson the other day, and she was doing hers where she laid the packing tape and even some of the regular tape on wax paper and made her version. So I figured I would try it. It looked so neat. And it takes forever to dry. I did it before I started the first version of this one. Let me show you right quick. And this is just using the regular tape. And then going in with my dauber. And I don't know how it's going to turn out until it dries. It is still wet, as you can see. And in some places it's starting to puddle, but that's okay. We'll see how it turns out. I don't know how long it's going to dry. But I have ink all over my hands. Still some there. Now, a lot of you know that my go-to for cleaning ink off are alcohol wipes, especially when it comes to my stamps and stuff. And when I'm cleaning off this, yeah, these are good, don't get me wrong. But, in fact, let me grab a piece of paper towel. I had, like I said, ink everywhere. And I also I could not get to my alcohol because this was in a drawer. I had my alcohol swabs in my drawer. Could not pull it out because I was covered in ink. But what I did have was hand sanitizer. This thing is mainly alcohol. Well, not mainly. It also has water and glycerin and alcohol in it. But glycerin's good for your hands. Water's good for your body. Alcohol's a good cleaner. So all I did was put some on, rub it, and believe me, my fingers were black with the walnut stain. And then came in here and just wipe it off. And it wiped off. It's still getting ink off. And I've still got ink all down in here. I haven't even done my nails this week because I knew I was playing with ink this week. But yeah, hand sanitizer, a good replacement for the alcohol. And I noticed that when I use the alcohol, my hands dry out. So I'm constantly using hand cream. They don't feel as dry because of the glycerin. That's something I learned. I thought I would pass it along. Of course, y'all already probably know all this. I'm just behind the times. Anyway, back to our book. I do want to do more in here, but with what I have, I'm thinking, because I have more than just paper in here. I do like this. Well, not there, but I don't want it there. I do want to use this though. I just don't know where. That it would totally. Ooh. What about there? That is interesting. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to lay this down a little flatter. Now, because there is mesh, it is going to come through this. Just giving y'all a heads up here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a line across the bottom, a line at the top, and maybe just a couple in the middle. That's all I'm going to do to hold this down, because any more and glue will be everywhere, and then I won't be able to glue anything else down. So I'll put that there for now. Do I want to add anything to it? Now would be the time to do it while that glue is still damp. So I come in with my little torn pieces here. And this one's going to go down here at the bottom. That will also help anchor that bottom down there. What about the top? What about the top? Oh, I have a piece of lace. That would do. I'm not going to use a whole piece. I'm just going to cut a piece of it off here. Put a bit more glue down here. And then down goes my lace. Of course the glue comes through the lace, but yeah, that's okay. That is all right. Do we want to do any? Yes. I've got this one little corner. One little corner of paper, and I've got a snagged corner there. So do that, just like that. That works. Now I wonder if I have, and yes, I'm going through more than just my scraps. A butterfly. We need a butterfly. Right in the middle. I think I only have like one or two of those butterflies left. I've used them everywhere. So now, that's got to dry, because I can't really put anything over this. But what I can do, let me see if I can get this off of here. No, that's not going to work. It's not going to come off. Oh. Well, it's just going to have to stay like that and dry. I did find, I came across this. and it was gifted to me, and I thought, why not? I'm gonna put it right here on the back, just like that, because the colors will go with everything else. So I come in here, go right down, lay this down this way, down that side, go down that side, and turn it over. Give me just a second. I want to get that as in the center as possible. I'm probably way off, but that works. Make sure it's down. It wants to, I think I moved it when I was trying to get the glue off, but that works. Then we have this in here. It's going to take a while, so that needs to set aside and dry. Oh my goodness, I had no idea I was that far off until I started eyeballing it. Not bad. Just a few things here and there, but you know, it's another start. It's another page or two that we don't really have to bother with, because, well, we'll come back and visit them. Maybe that wasn't the right term. But it's a few more pieces out of here, using up our scraps. And that's the whole idea of a scrap journal, is to use them up, because we really don't want to throw them away. We had too much fun making them. And yes, we make scraps. So use what we make. And that did turn out pretty good. I like that. Will I add more to the page? Maybe. I don't know. And I do like the way the back looks. They're sort of a little iridescent. I don't know what else I'm going to do to the cover, but that's where we'll stop for today. Now I got to go and get the glue off my hands, clean up my mess. Don't know what's going to come out for the rest of April. We still have our altered book we're working in. We still have our scrap journal. There's a lot of other ideas and tricks and tips and stuff that I'd like to bring to the table. And there's no telling what we'll work on next. So stay tuned. If you like what I shared with you today in our little chit chat, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time here at the Dragon's Den. Bye, guys.